Sheriff's Department during my tenure as an Eaton County prosecutor, trial judge, and criminal defense attorney. In the narrative that follows, he'll provide you with both the publicly known details of the Miller cases and intimate details of the investigation that the public was never made aware of. It will take you back over 40 years to a time when life seemed much simpler, until, for those living in my hometown, it changed forever. G. Michael Hawking, December 2019. Preface. There are very few cases more perplexing than those of a serial killer. In the 1970s, names like Gacy, Bundy, and Berkrot dominated headlines worldwide. Over a period of time, their cases have captivated us internationally. They were high-profile serial killers who had been caught. There were, and will always be, others out there. Robert Ressler, a criminal profiler in the Behavioral Sciences Unit of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, is oftentimes credited with coining the phrase serial homicide in the 70s. Although the term had been used before that time in writings, it hadn't been widely accepted. Ironically, Ressler's alma mater, Michigan State University, would be the venue for a series of murders that would begin only 3 years after he first used the term. Murders that involve a serial killer can occur over weeks, months, or even years. Several jurisdictions are likely to become involved, and finding a link between a suspect and his or her victim can be extremely difficult, if there even is one. There are obstacles and challenges faced by the investigators that have to be overcome. Information and leads can quickly build to a point where they become voluminous, and the investigators have to sort through it all, hoping to find that one piece of information to tie them all together. In early January 1977, a missing persons case first appeared in the Lansing, Michigan papers. Martha Sue Young, a co-ed from Michigan State University, had disappeared from her home after she was supposedly dropped off by her boyfriend in the early morning hours on New Year's Day. 18 months later, with Martha Sue Young still missing, a second woman, employed on the MSU campus, was reported missing. Marita Choquette, who lived in the small town of Grand Ledge, was last seen at her home, yet her car was found in the early morning hours at her workplace on 3241 campus. She was nowhere to be found. 2 weeks later, a third MSU co-ed, Wendy Bush, was reported missing after she failed to show up to work on campus. A witness reported seeing her with a man near the MSU library late the previous night. 2 months after Wendy disappeared, Christine Stewart, a Lansing area teacher, was reported missing as she walked home near the MSU campus. While the investigating law enforcement agency in Martha Sue Young's disappearance suspected her boyfriend was involved in her disappearance, they weren't convinced he was involved in the others. By August 1978, only one body had been found, and no one had been charged in that murder. 2 days after the fourth disappearance, a 14-year-old girl was raped in nearby Eaton County, and her 13-year-old brother was strangled, then stabbed. Police finally got the break they were looking for, when a witness was able to copy down the license plate as the suspect fled from the scene. Don G. Miller, the former boyfriend of Martha Sue Young, was arrested a short time later. This is the tragic story of 4 women whose lives were viciously cut short, and it is the story of a courageous sister and brother who, as young teenagers, literally saved each other's lives in August 1978. More than that, this is the story of a penal system that allowed for what some would call the unthinkable to occur, with a plea deal that haunts mid-Michigan to this day. My ability to document this case comes from a unique perspective. As I followed news reports of Martha Sue Young's disappearance, I had already chosen my career and began studying criminal justice in the fall of 1978, only 3 weeks after Miller's arrest.